Theresa May today vowed to hold to account those responsible for a devastating chemical weapons attack in Syria. The Prime Minister warned Russia not to interfere with the international investigation amid high tensions in the aftermath of the Salisbury attack. Downing Street's intervention came after Boris Johnson warned the international community that it must respond to the attack in Douma on Saturday. Britain is in close consultation with allies about how to respond to the attack, which Western governments have said is probably the fault of Syrian dictator President Bashar Assad. A spokesman for the Prime Minister today said questions about military action were hypothetical amid rapidly growing speculation of Western strikes. But the spokesman said the full range of options would be considered once an investigation into the attack was complete. At a briefing in Westminster today, Mrs. May's spokesman said the government was clear those responsible must be held to account, adding, "We are swiftly working with our allies to agree a common position." Number 10 said the PM would raise the issue during meetings with counterparts in Sweden and Denmark later today. The spokesman said, as the Foreign Secretary said in February, if there is a clear verified use of chemical weapons and a proposal for action where the UK would be useful, then we will look at the range of options. He added, as regards military action, I'm just not going to get into a hypothetical situation. The UN Security Council will meet in emergency session later to discuss Saturday's attack, which killed dozens of people including children. US President Donald Trump and French President Emmanuel Macron have already held direct talks about the possibility of a response amid speculation of Western strikes. Missiles were launched at a Syrian airfield overnight, but the US has denied responsibility. Analysts suggested the source could have been Israel.If America and France do launch military action against Assad. Britain will come under pressure to join a coalition. RAF aircrews are already in action over Syria fighting ISIS.Expanding. The mission would normally require a vote of parliament, which is on recess until next Monday, but Theresa May could declare the situation an emergency. Mrs. May's visit to Scandinavia is going ahead as planned today. In his statement, Mr. Johnson said, reports of a large-scale chemical weapons attack in Douma on Saturday causing high numbers of casualties are deeply disturbing. It is truly horrific to think that many of the victims were reportedly families seeking refuge from airstrikes in underground shelters. Pointing the finger at the Assad regime, Mr. Johnson said government forces had been proved to be behind earlier atrocities. He said, should it be confirmed that the regime has used chemical weapons again, it would be yet another appalling example of the Assad regime's brutality and blatant disregard for both the Syrian people and its legal obligations not to use chemical weapons. "We condemn the use of chemical weapons by anyone, anywhere.We are in close touch with our allies following these latest reports." Those responsible for the use of chemical weapons have lost all moral integrity and must be held to account. Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn will come under acute pressure over the attack today after an initial statement from the opposition assigned no blame. A Labour spokesman called for an investigation, called for restraint on all sides, and suggested all forces opposed to the Assad regime in Syria were jihadists. Communities Secretary Sajid Javid suggested the statement could have been written by the Kremlin